Hi, this is Nikki, and I'm about to walk you through element 2 of my final clinical project. The lesson I selected was a technology-based lesson that I did in my H173 Life Studies class. To begin, I created a Prezi presentation to provide my students a brief overview of what eating disorders are and also the causes associated with eating disorders. In the first slide of my Prezi presentation, I have a brief description of what eating disorders are. We talked about anorexia nervosa and also bulimia nervosa, as these are the most common eating disorders, so my students were very familiar with these two. We talked about the behaviors associated with eating disorders, the extreme emotions and attitudes and behaviors surrounding weight and food issues that these individuals face. And then also we talked about how eating disorders can affect both females and also males. In this next slide that you see, I showed them the various causes of eating disorders. Prior to showing this though, I had my students pair up and brainstorm some of the causes to activate prior knowledge and also to build that background knowledge too. I found it really interesting that many students pinpointed media influences and also peer and social pressures, because in my next slide, I showed them how media plays a role and how they influence disordered eating behaviors. This video clip is designed by the Dove Beauty campaign, and I showed my students this to kind of kick off our eating disorders project to motivate them and just get them excited about creating their movie.
Younger, smaller, lighter, fuller, tighter, thinner, softer. It really works.
After showing this video clip, I had a discussion with my class, of course, and then went right into the eating disorder project description and the project guidelines. I had my students work in groups of 2 or 3, and they were assigned to research one of the topics that are listed here on the screen. They were expected to use either Microsoft PowerPoint or Microsoft Movie Maker to create their project, but they had to include all of the following information in their presentation. This is one of the final products of the project. This is just a student sample that I had my students, I just included it into my project so that you can see one of the final projects for this particular lesson. I'm gonna stop there so we can reflect on what some of my students said. I did include a second sample as well. I did survey my students, and many of my students admitted using PowerPoint because they weren't familiar with Movie Maker and that it seemed like more work. Although many students chose Windows Movie Maker as means to present their topic, many still opted to use Microsoft PowerPoint. Many students also stated that Movie Maker was more difficult to maneuver, but that they preferred viewing the movies on the actual presentation day. Many students also reported needing more time to create their movie. I only provided them with 2 days. So if I were to do this technology-based lesson again in the future, I would definitely extend that time frame. Students also stated it was very difficult to work in partnerships when creating their Microsoft movies because many of their partners had saved their photos and video clips, and it was very difficult to access their H drives when they were absent. And to conclude, I have some project goals for the future. I definitely would adjust some of the project guidelines so that a digital presentation format is expected and mandatory. Only 2 language domains were supported during the creation of this project, I realized. Those included reading and writing. To promote the speaking and listening components of the language domains, the students can use voiceovers during their digital presentations rather than just playing music in the background. And then the following supplementary activities could also be used during the final presentations. So prior to having my students share their videos, they could do some activities to build their peers' background knowledge. I also have that I could include some graphic organizers or even sentence and summary frames to promote more writing, to build their writing proficiency levels. So that's my evaluation of the technology-based lesson that I did in my H173 class. Thanks.